Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the November 2024 Bass Fishing Report for Arizona. Before we go too far, I want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done so already and you like the videos, please go ahead and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you're liking, how fishing's been for you. If you're on a hot bite and you want to share it with the crew, why not? Feel free to drop it in the comments. I appreciate it big time. This video is brought to you by Hatch Toyota in Cholo, Arizona. If you guys are in the market for a Toyota of any sort, give them a shot. They do a great job, great folks, great prices, and love working with those folks up there. So let's get into the fishing report here. It's been a pretty solid month of fishing. It's been, overall for me anyways, things have changed a lot, but the fish have kind of continued to bite. We've had way more good trips than tough trips. And, fall fishing, it's funny, we went straight from the heat of the summer. I mean, we had 98, 100 degrees, 105 degrees all through October. And then, we hit November and all of a sudden it was like winter time. We had no fall as far as the actual weather goes. We had some fall fishing. We had some fall patterns. But, it went straight from summer to winter. And, with that being said, the fishing has changed a lot over the last month or so. I've definitely noticed the shallow bite has been different. They're still a shallow bite, but they're not eating topwaters nearly as well as they were in the last video on all the lakes. We're catching some fish shallow still, but we're definitely seeing more fish gang up out deep, just like you would expect this time of year. So that's something to keep in mind. If it's been a week or two since you've been on the water, don't expect to go catch them doing the same thing. And that's been the prevailing thing for me. Even on days where I was going multiple guide trips in a row. There was a couple times where I had multiple guide trips in a row up at Roosevelt. And every day I was excited. I'd have a great day doing one thing and I couldn't wait to get out there and do it again the next day. What do you know? The fish moved. We'd end up finding them and having a good day. And next day it'd be like, okay, I can't wait to get out and do that again. And again, the fish would move. So lots of movement. Things are going to settle down here pretty soon. But overall, fishing's been pretty good. So I'm excited to say that. Typically when people ask me, in Arizona overall, does bass fishing get tough in the winter? Yeah, for sure. It definitely can. But I think you can have some great days in November and all through December too. And I've had some good days in January, but December to me is a better fishing month than January. We're not even to December yet, but I bring it up just because we're here the latter third of November when I get this report out. So November is a great fishing month. December can be a great fishing month if you know how to utilize your electronics, know how to take advantage of timing and feeding windows, and obviously a little bit of patience and luck as well. But overall, I would say we'll start on Roosevelt. We'll work our way down the salt chain. We'll talk about Pleasant. We'll talk about Bartlett. Roosevelt's been the lake I've been on the most. I've been running some guide trips up there. If you are interested in a guide trip, feel free to send me an email at azangler@gmail.com or check out my website, joshbertrandfishing.com. Drop me a message. I've got very few dates left this winter, a couple. So if you want to try to snag one of those, go ahead. Otherwise, I've got some dates I'm starting to fill for the spring. So they're limited, so drop me an email if you're interested in getting out. But anyways, Roosevelt has been solid. We've had some great numbers days out there. Probably the slowest day we've had out there has been 15 or 20 bass, but we've had several where we caught well over 50. And the mix, the days where we've had some breeze, some cloud cover, stuff like that, the shallow bite's been good. Crankbaits, spinner baits. As far as crankbaits go, the Berkeley Square Bull has been #1. This thing does a great job of getting through the brush. It's amazing how much brush is in there and how many casts you can make with this crankbait without hanging it up. It's been excellent, catching a lot of fish. This is the Ghost Morning Dawn color. This has been the best bait for me by a long shot. As it gets colder, I pulled this frit side out. This frit side's going to really start to, shine as it gets colder and colder. It does okay in the brush. The Square Bull does better in the brush. But if you're fishing rocky banks, this flat-sided frit side on all of our Arizona lakes is really going to start to dominate as things get cold. The water right now on most of our lakes is in the low 60s. It's going to be in the 50s here before you know it. I mean, you'll blink and it'll be in the 50s, and that's when that thing kind of starts to take over. So grab a couple of the square bowls, but really the Fritz side is going to be the thing as it gets colder and we look forward. And I haven't had this in the past, but if you guys are interested in any of these Berkley baits, you can go to the Berkley. I'm going to drop a link down below in the description. Go to that link. Use the code all caps JBERT10. You can save 10% on any of these baits. Just go through the website, pick what you want. You'll save 10%. So square bowl when it's a little warmer. As it gets colder, the Fritz side is great. I throw them on usually like 10 or 12 pound test. If you're in heavy brush at Rosie, 12. But 10, you're going to get a little bit better action. The bait's going to go just a little bit deeper. If you have clouds, if you have wind, or maybe even a little bit more stained water, you can throw it all day long. That goes for all these lakes. When you've got really clear water situations this time of year and the sun gets out, you have to finesse. You know, you got to put down the fast moving baits, the flashy baits when it's calm and bluebird in the cooler months in Arizona. But all you need is a little bit of a breeze. All you need is some clouds, early morning, late afternoon, that low light conditions. You can throw these reaction baits all day in the wintertime. So have that crankbait tied on, be ready to throw it. As far as the shallow stuff, you can catch them on a spinnerbait. The jerkbait bite is starting to pick up a little bit. We've been catching them on the jerkbaits. Similar deal. A-rig's a good option if you'd like to throw an A-rig. You can throw deeper diving crankbaits if you're fishing some areas that you need a little bit more depth out of your crankbait. But any of those shad imitating baits are going to work really well right now. As it gets later in the day, you're going to have to go a little bit deeper. If it's calm and bluebird, we've been having some great days out deep on a couple different things. Your spoon style or baits, your jigging style baits have been working really well. The power switch from Berkley, the minnow style baits, this thing's got a internal head in it. This is a 3/8 ounce right here. It's 3 inches. This is what it looks like in the package. This is a great way when you're seeing, if you're using live scope, see fish on live scope, you can pitch your bait out to them and keep it in front of their face. If they're suspended, the power switch is by far the way to go. If they're on the bottom, your spoon is going to be the way to go. For me, that bite seems to be a little bit better usually once that sun gets high. Don't go do this right at first light. First light, fish shallow. Once that sun gets high, the fish seem to settle down closer to the bottom a little bit more, and you can get into those big schools doing that. It's a really fun time of year. It's a needle in a haystack, but if you find it, it's awesome. I think a lot of you guys watching the video can attest. You've been in the boat with me when that deep bite gets going and fired up, and it's awesome. So it's a good time to be doing that. While we're talking about that bite, you can try it on all the lakes. I mean, it's a thing. I catch them. I've caught them big time at Saguaro doing that, Canyon, Apache, Bartlett, Pleasant, all these lakes. It's something that you can look for. And what I just talked about as far as, you know, the techniques and stuff, that's across the board on all these lakes. They all, you know, there's times when they fish completely different, but right now I think that's a pretty safe strategy on any of these lakes. You know, reaction early, middle of the day, go deep. Later on in the afternoon, go back up shallow on a normal, calm, sunny Arizona day. Apache, I've been out to Apache once or twice since our last report. It's been just fair. You know, those fish, I'm no biologist. I couldn't tell you exact specifics on how much Florida strain genes these fish have in this lake compared to that one or that one, but my opinion, the fish in Apache have pretty heavy Florida strain genes, and it does slow down a little bit this time of year. You know, when we used to have a lot of smallmouth in that lake, it was awesome because they could kind of carry you through the colder months. This time of year, you can go catch them for sure, but it's not as guaranteed as it was in the warmer months. So last time we were out there, we ended up catching about 20 fish, but we fished hard all day to catch those 20. Wasn't wide open, but it's still definitely worth going to if you want to, you know, change of pace, have a shot at a big fish, fish a lake that you have to yourself all day. Apache is definitely a good bet for you. Canyon's been extremely hit or miss, as always, it's a major wild card. If you want a shot at a big fish, I say it every time, you want a shot at a big fish, you can try it, but don't be upset if you come home empty-handed, because that's just, it's not a shocker over there this time of year. Saguaro has also, it's gotten tougher. There was a very good bite up in the grass, people catching them on reaction baits and flipping and stuff like that. And that's, as it gets cold, this is typically the time of year where that kind of slows down a little bit. If you're really good with your electronics and you're a good live scoper, you can go tease those fish into biting. But then outside of that, you're gonna, if I was going to Saguaro tomorrow, I'd be fishing slow, I'd be doing a lot of drop shotting, maybe throwing a jig, and then the live scope stuff. But the spoon deal, it's gonna get going. It's hit or miss, but you can have some really good days there. It's just one of those deals, you're gonna go out all day, you're gonna struggle for 70 or for 90% of the day. 10% of the day you get on a group of fish, you catch them really good for 30 minutes, and that's how you caught your fish that day. So all the same deep stuff, the power switch, the spoons, if you're gonna try to do that at Saguaro, get on your electronics, watch that live scope, watch that 2D, and you know, they seem to go a little bit deeper out there too, 40, 50 foot. Not a big deal. Those fish will get that deep, no problem this time of year. Pleasant, lake level is still really low. It's like as low as it goes. It's like 38, 40 feet down. Hasn't started coming up yet. Should anytime, but it's very, very low. But that's got the fish kind of bottled up a little bit. The northern creek arms are going to be warmer this time of year. That's a lot of times where I start my search. If you want to fish deep, you can still fish anywhere on the lake. You can fish main lake, you can fish lower lake. If you want to fish shallow, in my opinion, you need to be on that upper end of the lake in any of the creek arms, fishing reaction bait, looking for shad, and if you can find the shad, you're going to be able to find the bass on that lake always. Bartlett, it's down, it's been going down. I got it written down right here. It's 57% full, and it's been on the down, but again, that's a great lake to be able to go to and get bit this time of year too. Northern strain fish, they'll bite all winter long. You know, when I'm guiding and I've got someone that wants to learn a technique or just wants, maybe not a die-hard angler or is bringing a kid or something on the boat, Bartlett's a great bet this time of year. Get out there. If you're in dirtier water, throw that reaction stuff. If you're in clear water or if it's calm, same thing. Get on the bottom. Throw the drop shot, shaky head, jig. If you're into your electronics, you can do the whole, you know, power switch deal looking for them, but it's always a good bet this time of year. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. I haven't been to Alamo. I haven't been to the Colorado River, so I don't want to give you guys any of that. We did slide over to Parker last week. I did with a couple friends of mine. We had an okay day of fishing. Wasn't amazing. Caught a handful of nice smallies. Caught a bunch of largemouth. It was kind of funny how many largemouth we caught. But that was a fun change of pace for me. Caught a lot of our fish on jerk baits. That was the best deal for us over there. My boat is for sale. If anyone's looking for a boat, I've got a 2024 Nitro Z21 XL. Every option that you could possibly think of, I've got it for $62,500. You'll not find a better boat for a better price. I mean, it's literally, it's a $100,000 boat new. It's less than a year old. I've got a new one on the way. Trying to get rid of it. If you're in the market for a boat, give me a call. Again, make sure you use that code. If you're interested in a guide trip, drop me a message, drop a comment below. Let me know how the fishing has been for you. And as always, thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you next month.